Hi everybody, it's RJ with Tai Chi for You. So those of you that don't know, I teach at Meta Wellness in Paxton, Mass. Of course, these days I only meet at the park. If somebody wants to get together at the park, they're a little bit more comfortable there. That's something that we can do. So these lessons that I have coming up, what you need to understand is they're building blocks. In other words, each lesson doesn't stand on its own. They're not individual lessons. Each lesson is going to build on the previous lesson, and if you're able to follow through all of them, then at the end you'll have a complete form that you can practice that really doesn't take a lot of room to practice in. You can probably practice it in your kitchen. It doesn't need a lot of room to do the whole form. So with that said, we'll be going through 2 postures for each lesson, and I may refer you to some of my other videos to give you a little bit more detail on some of these movements. You can, however, just of course replay these to get a better understanding, on a second viewing. So really the goal is to follow along as best that you can, and then practice a couple of times during the week. It is highly required homework, because the following week we add to what we previously learned. And again, we build one lesson on top of the other, forming a complete sequence or form. So I want to say something about learning from videos. Honestly, it's not my preferred method, because so much can get lost in the translation. I'm going to try to make things verbally as clear as I can, and with body movements as well. But sometimes something is lost in translation. No matter how clear I think that I'm making something, maybe it's misinterpreted. So really, the main thing here is you can learn this from video, but eventually you do want to be in a class with a teacher. And this goes for those yoga practitioners. You understand what I'm saying, because you have constant corrections from the teacher, constant adjustments. And the same thing applies to Tai Chi Chuan. You need the teacher and student in the same room, so the teacher can help you with these corrections, making the posture better each time. So with that, let's get started. I picked an area that's quiet. I'm on some gravel here, so you can see my footwork a little bit clearer. They haven't mowed the grass here in a while, so my feet actually kind of hide in the grass. You don't really see what's going on. So we'll take it step by step. We'll go over 2 postures today. Then the following time we'll go over 2 postures. And please, if you like these videos, subscribe, and also leave me comments. And I'll try to get back to as many of the comments as I can. If you have any questions on the movements, please comment, good or bad. So let's get started. So here we're going to stand with feet together, and our opening posture is open Tai Chi. So with our feet together, we have a slight bend in the knees. We're going to take a step to the left. So with our left foot, we're going to step to the left. But let's do this like a real Tai Chi practitioner. In Tai Chi Chuan, we want to move slowly. And there are many reasons here. By moving slowly, you're going to increase your balance. Also, by moving slowly, the mind is able to catch up with what the body is doing. So if there are any problems along the way, you can analyze what the problem is by going slowly. So here, Tai Chi Chuan is known for its balance. And you're going to see from the very first posture, we start applying these principles. So we're going to step again. The left foot is going to step out to about a hip's width apart. To do that, what we do is we squat down slightly. All of our weight is going to go on the right leg. So now the left leg can come up on that toe. Now I can rise up, all of my weight's on my right leg. I can step out on the toe and now slowly move my body till the weight is even distribution on both feet. Very simple movement. So again, with the feet together, we open Tai Chi. In Chinese translation, Qi, sure. So we squat down slightly, bending at the knees. The toe comes up on the left. We step out to the left on that toe and slowly move over, both feet flat on the ground. So that's our footwork. What happens with the arms, to complete the posture, we step out, opening Tai Chi. Now the arms rise up to about shoulder length, and then they'll drop down. Now I'm going to give you a side view here, because what's happening is you don't want a stiff arm. In Tai Chi Chuan practice, the joints are never locked out. There's always a slight curvature in the arm. So when I rise up, my arm is relaxed, my shoulder is dropped. My shoulder is very relaxed. So I'm not lifting up on my shoulders. I mean, think about it. If you were at your kitchen and you're preparing dinner, you're going to pick up a utensil on the kitchen counter. You're not going to lift up your shoulder to do it, right? The utensil is a very light object, so you just barely have to pick up your hand, your arm, to pick up that utensil. Same thing here. There's no need to rise that shoulder up. So the arms rise up to about shoulder level, and you can see how my elbow has a bend to it. My wrist is also relaxed. My shoulder is relaxed. All of these things will come in time, but you just need to know about them. So we rise up to about shoulder level, and then we drop down in front of the body. So again, with the feet together, we already start to practice our balance. We come up on the toe, we step out. At this point, the hands are on by the sides here. We move to the center, so we have both feet flat on the ground. We rise up to the shoulder level, and then let the arms relax in front of the body. So that's open Tai Chi. And I can see by the wind that my camera's moving a little bit. So I'll readjust that. So that's actually a little bit windier than I expected today. So again, feet together, we sink down, we step out, move to the center of our body, the hands rise up in front, and relax down. So you can even think of, imagine that there's a string attached to your wrist. The other end of the string has a balloon. And the balloon is pulling the wrist up. So there's no weight in the arms. And again, this will come in time where it almost feels like that the arms are just rising by themselves with no effort whatsoever. And then they drop down in front of the body. So that's our first posture. Before we go into the next one, we're going to do a little bit of work. So we're going to step out. This time we're not going to move the arms. This is just an exercise that we can do. So we have a comfortable stance. Now, we're going to step to the left. So to do that, and my camera's moving again. So to do that, we come up on the left toe and bring it in slightly. My body turns to the left, and I'm rotating that foot. So I'll give you this angle here. So I come up. I've already done stepping out. Now I come up, and I point the toe in that direction. All of my weight is in the back leg, my right leg. Now I'm going to step out a little bit forward. Most of my weight is in that back leg now, and now my body's going to shift forward. And I have to give you this angle here. So we step out, I face towards my left, my toe faces towards my left. I step out a little bit till my foot is flat. Most of my weight is in this back leg. My body's going to shift forward now. But what I want to do is, as I shift forward, watch my back foot. My back foot pivots on the ball of the toe. So what I have now, I'll give you this angle here. So I step. When I get into that position, what I have now is the front toe is pointing forward, but the back toe has a slight angle to it. And there are several reasons I want this position. It's a stronger posture. You need to realize also that Tai Chi Chuan is not just for health, it is also an internal martial art with many health benefits. So this is a very strong posture by turning that foot. The other thing is, by turning that foot in this angle, we're not going to hurt the knee. If you're in this position here, there's a good potential of twisting that knee. So we turn that foot a little bit. There's not a lot of weight on the ball of the foot when you do that turn. Very little bit of weight. So this is the position you want. You want a little bit of space in between the feet. So you don't want to be too much this way, too much that way. A comfortable stance, about hips width apart. So we step out into that position. So this position here, and I'll give you a wider angle of it. This position here, you'll notice that there's a big bend in the in the front leg, a little bend in the back leg. Remember what I said, all the joints in the body are never fully locked out. There's always a little bit of curvature in the elbow, in the knee. So this position here is called mountain climbing stance, and we'll be using this quite a bit. So you can see that my body is upright. You don't never want to be tilted too much forwards. So I have a good posture. So from here, this exercise that we're going to do, we're going to step out as though we're opening Tai Chi. And now we step up, pointing that toe to the left. We step out a little bit, just a small distance, move forward and let that back heel move, but we're pivoting on the ball of the toe. And now we're in mountain climbing stance. So this is how we have to move into our next posture. So from here, we come up, we step out. Both feet are flat on the ground. Now I come up. All of my weight is in my right leg. I look to my left, and I'm going to step to my left. And then as the body moves forward, that back foot pivots. And my body, you'll also notice when I step here, I come up, I step, the back foot pivots, my body faces forward, my torso, my head, I'm looking in that direction now. This would be towards your left, looking in that direction. So that's going to be our stepping movement into our second posture. So our second posture in Chinese is Ya Ma Feng Zong, and it's called Part the Wild Horse's Mane. So after we open Tai Chi, what we need to do is hold a ball, an imaginary ball, in front of the body. So in this case, the left hand is just below the belt line. The right hand is just below the rib cage. So after we open Tai Chi, we get into this position here. But again, let's make it a little bit more Tai Chi-like. So we open Tai Chi, we make a little circular movement to get into that position. Okay, so left hand just below the belt line, right hand just below the rib cage. So we open, the hands are in front of the body, make a little circular movement, and hold the ball. So now that exercise that we just did previously, we come up, all of the weight goes in the right leg, I come up on the toe of my left foot. I'm going to step out to my left side. So I step, my body moves forward, that back foot pivots at a slight angle. So I'm still holding the ball at this point. Now what's going to happen is the upper hand, the right hand, is just going to press down anywhere around the pocket. The hand is going to remain flat to the ground. So we just go from here to here. That's all we have to do. We're going to take this one step at a time. So we open Tai Chi, make a little circular movement to hold the ball, come up on that left toe, step out, move the body forward, pivoting out that back heel, pivoting on the toe, on the ball of the toe. The upper hand presses down, anywhere around the pocket, anywhere in that area. Now the left hand is just going to reach out in front of the body. So the left hand is palm up. You can see that there's a slight elbow, bend in the elbow, and there we are. I'm looking over the fingertips out into the distance of that forward hand. So from holding the ball, the upper hand presses down, the other hand moves out in front of the body, reaches out with the palm facing the sky, and I look out into the distance over the fingertips. So from here, we're going to need to do that posture a second time on the other side, and we have to step as we do that. So I'm going to refer you to another video. If you want to look at the other video, that's fine, but we're going to go through it now. But I have another video called Walking in the Park, and it's strictly stepping. The stepping practice that we do throughout all of Tai Chi Chuan practice. So from here, we're in this posture now. But I'm taking, for now, just take a comfortable stance, hips width apart, in that posture. So we were holding the ball, the right hand pressed down, anywhere around the pocket, the left hand reached out. Again, just below the eyesight. So now we need to go to the other side. So, we turn the waist. Keep the arms exactly where they are. Just turn the waist. Now, turn both of your hands over. So, the upper hand now faces the ground. The lower hand now faces the sky. We continue with part the wild horse's mane. The upper hand presses down anywhere around the pocket. The other hand reaches out just below the eyesight. So you can see at this point that this hand has a little bit of a, this arm, has a little bit of a bend to it, and this has a little bit of a bend to it as well. So now we go to the other side. So keep the hands where they are, turn our waist as far as you can go, or is comfortable. Turn both hands. So the upper hand faces the ground, the lower hand faces the sky. The upper hand presses down anywhere around the pocket. The other hand reaches out in front of the body. And you can see that my waist turns now so I can face forward. So again, let's switch to the other side. Turn the waist as far as is comfortable. Both hands turn at the same time. The upper hand presses down. The other hand goes forward. In Tai Chi practice, the waist is very important. A lot of waist movement happens throughout these postures. So again, let's move to the other side, turning the waist. Turn both hands over. So the upper hand should face the ground. The lower hand faces the sky. So at this point, both palms are facing each other. The upper hand presses down. The other hand moves in front of the body. So one other point is, you can see that my lower hand is flat. The fingers point forward. So again, let's move the body. Keep the hands where they are in space, the arms where they are in space. Turn both hands at the wrist. The upper hand presses down. The other hand moves in front of the body. Let's do that one more time. Turn the waist. Keep the arms locked in position. Turn both hands. The upper hand presses down. The other hand moves forward. So let's get into a little bit of stepping now. It's getting a little bit more involved. And as I said, please practice after this video. Try to practice on your own, and then try to practice this lesson at least a couple of times during the week, because the next lesson we just keep going, adding to what you've already learned. So it's a really good idea to try to do this without the video. When you think you have it, even if you're close but not sure, try to turn off the video and try to do it on your own. That's what Tai Chi practice is about. In real life, we go to a Tai Chi class. We learn from the teacher, then we go home and try to remember and practice what the teacher showed us. So the teacher is only somebody to show you the way. You have to do the practice yourself without the teacher. And that's what Tai Chi is all about. Giving you these tools that you can practice when you're by yourself, not just in class time. The benefits will be greatly rewarding if you can practice this on a regular basis. So let's start with feet together, and we open Tai Chi. So all of the weight goes on that right leg. We're on the left toe. We step out to the left on the toe. Slowly the body moves. So I'm going to do that again. See, the hands are by the side for open Tai Chi. We step out. Now the hands rise up in front of the body to about shoulder level, and then they relax in front of the body. We hold that ball, making a little circular movement. So the left hand is on the bottom. Now I'm going to come up on the left toe. I'm going to step out to my left. Move the body forward, pivoting out that back foot. the upper hand presses down, the other hand moves forward, and let the waist move with it. So now from this position here, as I said, it gets a little bit more complicated. What we're going to do is, so you remember when we were doing this in this position here, stationary, remember how the waist turned to one side, but we kept our arms locked out? We're going to do the same thing. So we're in this position here. Now, we're going to move the body backwards. So most of the weight is on that back leg, and we're on the front heel. So I'll give you this angle here. We rock back on that heel. You'll hear me say this quite a bit, rocking back and rocking forward. So we rock back on that heel. So we keep those arms locked out. So from here, we rock back. Now, we're going to pivot at the hip joint. We're going to move that toe, moving that toe to the left. But the action, the pivoting is happening in our hip joint. So we pivot. Now, we're going to step in that direction that the toe is pointing. We go forward, so the foot is flat, and then we step up. So now, all of our weight is in the left leg. So from here, we rock back. The whole body turns, pivoting at that hip joint. That front foot flattens out, and we come up on the right toe. Again, another good place to practice your balance. So now from here, continue moving the waist, keeping those arms locked out. Now, we turn both hands. So at this point, the upper hand faces the ground, the lower hand faces the sky. Okay? Both hands should be palm to palm now, facing each other. So now, I'm going to step forward. I'm stepping towards you. I step out forward on the heel. I let my body move forward till my foot is flat, and I'm in mountain climbing stance. The upper hand moves down to the pocket, and the other hand moves forward. So you remember in the beginning, after open Tai Chi, how we needed to pivot out that back foot so it's angled. Well, now we don't have to do that because we were in this position here. We opened Tai Chi, and this was our first part of the wild horse's mane. Now, when we did that rock back and we pivoted at the hip joint, turning that foot out, that set us up for the next movement. So now when we come up here, that foot is already angled out that way, and when we step forward, we're in mountain climbing stance on the opposite side. So we don't have to do that pivoting on the ball of the foot like we did in the beginning. Because this movement here, we rock back, turn the hip joint, it prepares us for the next movement. So that little stepping maneuver there is, I go into very great detail in that other video called A Walk in the Park. And I really get into some detail there on how to do just the walking. So that puts us in this position here, hot the wild horse's mane, on the other side. So let's go right from the beginning, feet together. We, with the hands by our side, we open Tai Chi. So slight bend in the knees, coming up on that left toe. We step out to the left, practicing our balance. So we're on the toe. Now let the body move slowly to the center. So now we have equal distribution. Now the hands rise up in front of the body, nice relaxed arms, and then let them sink in front of the body. Now hold the Tai Chi ball, making a little circular movement. So the palms face each other. The lower hand is your left hand. Now we shift our weight to the right leg. Come up on that left toe. We step out. Move the body forward, pivoting that back foot. The upper hand presses down anywhere around the pocket. The other hand reaches out in front of the body. And again, keep a nice curvature in the elbow on both arms. So now I'm going to change the view here. So from that position, we go to the other side for part the wall horse and mane. We shift our weight to the back leg. The front toe comes off the ground, so we're on that front heel. Pivot at the waist and the hip joint. Now we step out in that direction. Now again, we can practice our balance. If you need to, place that toe down to help with the balance. Turn the waist a little bit more. Turn both hands. So now the hands are palm to palm. The right hand is on the bottom, and the palm is facing the sky. The upper hand is the left hand facing the ground. Now I step forward. On the heel, I move forward till my foot is flat. I'm in mountain climbing stance. The upper hand presses down near the pocket. The other hand reaches out. And my torso is forward as well. And I'm looking forward over the fingertips. So let's do that again. I'll give you a back view this time. Okay, I'll give you a back view again. And if you want to follow along, that's fine. Okay, so there we have our first two postures. Open Tai Chi and part the wild horse's mane. Review this a couple of times. Try to practice it on your own. And please, in the comment section, if there's anything that can help with your practice, if you want more back views or, you know, different angles, let me know what works for you. If you need me to go slower, faster, you know, whatever. So again, please subscribe, and I'll see you next week for 2 more postures. So keep practicing. Take care.